Lastly, as a last talk, I'm going to dive into some Clojure code right now, so I need to get hands dirty. So I'm going to talk about an implementation for to work with GraphQL in Clojure. So how many of you guys heard about GraphQL? Oh, that's great. Way more than I thought. So basically, yeah, get a quick brief introduction. Is GraphQL is basically is a query language. It's designed to basically you can query your application for the predefined typing system. So to me, my understanding for that is basically GraphQL is a typing system for your API. It's not a query language anyway. So, but it provides. Let's first look at an example of the GraphQL. So, the query will look like this. The top one, like you want to query a user and then give in a parameter, and then you want to get in the name of the user. So that's the query you send from your client side. Like your web browser will send, your web application will send this query to a server side, or your mobile application will send this query to a server side, and the server will return the data as the exactly format you requested as user name, and then that's I took it from the GraphQL spec. So that's basically GraphQL. So it's pretty much my understanding about the GraphQL. So basically, it solved a bunch of problems for me as I was trying to solve for a long time, but we use a liberator in the Clojure code, in server code to prepare our API. Our main API right now using the REST API. It's really hard to figure out a way to first solving the multiple version of API issue, which is really hard. Like I had a problem with which I updated API and it breaking the mobile application, which I cannot update a mobile client that easily. So that's one kind of strong intention for me to look into some alternatives. And the second part is the documentation, because GraphQL is pretty much just a typing system. You define the typing system for your API. So for that, you don't need any documentation anymore, because the GraphQL support introspective query. So basically, you can ask a server, say, oh, what kind of query do you support? I can query on. What kind of type do you support? Do you provide for me to query on? I know that. And then you can keep looking. So what field do you support for this type? And you can keep asking this kind of question. In the end, you don't even need to understand your server. You don't need any knowledge for querying something on your backend service, which is huge. So the last kind of benefit I'm saying is you can batch multiple queries. Like if you have a REST API to support batching multiple queries is really hard. Like you need to do a lot of things. But for GraphQL, basically you can send multiple queries as one HTTP request and then get a result at one shot. So that's kind of incentive for me to look into the way to support it. So I've looked into a bunch of GraphQL implementation in Clojure. I didn't really find anything which is mature enough. So I just spent some time to write on my own. So basically, the implementation has three parts. The first one is the parser. So basically, the parser will support parsing the query itself, and also parsing the typing system, which is now found libraries. Very few libraries that are doing things like that. So here I can define the query. So as you can see, you can this is the schema and the query root. Once you have a parser and then transform to the basically a different tree structure so that I can execute on it. And then besides that, I need to provide information for the resolver function. So for the type and the field. So how can I retrieve the data from the server side? So in this part, it's really powerful. Like I will show it later on in a real example. So after you have a resolver, you can then execute a query. So basically, you say you want to execute a query, and then you will get a result. So in the end, the whole system will take a two input, the typing system as a plain text file, and then your query as a plain text. And then it will, and also will take a resolve function. So basically a mapping of, for type of field, how do you retrieve the data from server side. And then this kind of this library will get a result, will execute a query and get a result back to you. So I'll show you, quickly show an example of that. Like here I define the typing system, and I have a, let me make it simple enough. So I have a friends and nickname. I have a query support, which is user. And then right now I can query on the username and nickname and friends. I'll run the query. I'll get a result like this. So I'll get a result like this. Oops. So,
5 minutes.
Okay.
Questions?
Yeah, so you guys have any questions? But I just add one more. Like once you have the typing system defined, you can easily support the query like this. You can, because a friend is a user type as well, you can say friend's name. You can run this kind of query, so you can solve the problem. You don't need to construct the data in your API. You can basically just using typing system to run the query like this. Yeah.
So I'm a little bit confused about what you mean by a typing system here. How is the data stored on the back end?
So it's basically it's up to you. The resolver function you define typing system as a type user, and then you will tell the system will say, okay, for this user I want to retrieve a name. So you are responsible for telling the system how to retrieve the username. So basically, you can run a database query, get a result, and then your database query probably won't return the friends for you, but then the system you can, while we ask for the friends, the user data in the context, the user data will pass in, and then you have the user data, so you know how to know the friends for that particular user, and then you can keep doing that. Yeah.
Also, it handles the recursion there.
Yeah. Yeah, the resolve functions. Yes.
What kind of backend storage systems have you used?
We use a Postgres database, and you can support caching very easily.
Yeah, doing relational storage or doing like JSON storage?
Relational database. Yeah.
If you put one of these GraphQL APIs in, would you say that then you don't need to support a REST API at all as well?
No.
So this is just no more REST.
Yeah.
GraphQL.
The problem with the REST API is you need to get used, and you have friends. You need to determine how many level of friends you want. But in your web app, probably you can get all of them. In your mobile app, probably get one shot, load a lot of data. In a web app, you probably only want to load 2 level of data. But you cannot just get one version which works for both. Yes.
Do you think it's worthwhile using this system if you've just got data in memory? Let's say
Yeah.
you've just got 50 meg in memory.
Yeah, totally. The example I gave here is exactly I wrote the data, put it in memory. And then the good thing about that is if you're doing a prototype system, which you can have a data query ready immediately. Yeah.
So what's the cost of bringing in the graph? How big is the dependency?
So basically the install parser is pretty much the only one. Yeah, the rest of things less than around 800 lines of Clojure code. That's all.
Do you have to define a resolver for each field individually, or can you resolve?
Yeah, so basically for this example, the resolver defined is only this one. It's the only line of resolver I defined. As you can see, defined so these two, I only define the resolver for these 2 functions. These 2 type and the user and friends. The rest of things, because I use basically using the keyword directly, getting the value from the object. That's it. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes.
Have you put this up on GitHub or something? Or?
Yes. A good question. So this is on GitHub, and then yeah, you guys. So right now I only implement the query. So the mutation part hasn't been implemented yet, because I haven't seen the absolute value for the mutation. But for query, it's usable, and the whole typing system has been implemented. Like basically, I implement follow the GraphQL spec to implement the whole parser to parse the typing system and then the query. Yeah, basically one parser can parse the query and the typing system. So, yep. Thanks.